The 2024 Tony nominations are officially out this year. It was really down to the wire. 12 Broadway shows opened with just 9 days left in the eligibility deadline. In all, 36 shows, both musicals and plays, were eligible this year, and a pretty good chunk of them, 28, picked up at least one nomination. That includes Hell's Kitchen. It's the semi-biographical musical by Alicia Keys. I recently had Hell's Kitchen director Michael Greif on our segment Curtain Call. He talked about why he was so attracted to the show.
I love this story. It's a story about a really courageous single mom, and it's a story about affordable housing and how New York can be a great, great environment for people of all kinds of economic brackets.
He is just one of 5 guests from our Curtain Call segment who scored a Tony nomination this year. So there's the message right there. You want a Tony nomination? Come on NBC News now. Joining us now to talk about the nominations, Broadway writer and content creator Felicia Fitzpatrick. Good morning. Good to see you. All right.
Good to see you too.
So we talk about Hell's Kitchen receiving 13 nominations, tied for the most. That includes Best New Musical. That's the big award of the night. We really went into the nominations with Best New Musical, not really knowing who the frontrunner was going to be this year. How do you sum up the competition in that category?
Well, I have notes because there is just so much, and I felt like Steve Kornacki yesterday, like at my computer, and I was like, I need a smart board.
You're our Kornacki.
Yeah, the Broadway Kornacki. But we have Hell's Kitchen, like you said. We have Illinois, Outsiders, Suffs, and Water for Elephants. And you're right, there's no clear frontrunner right now. But I think what's interesting is Illinois is a dance review because there's no actual dialogue. It's movement and it's music. But we've actually seen, it was Fosse in 1999, I believe, and Contact in 2000. They won Best Musical.
Yep.
So anything's possible.
But it does seem like Hell's Kitchen and Outsiders might now be the top 2.
Yeah, because they have the most nominations. We have 13 for Hell's Kitchen, 12 for Outsiders. So June 16th is going to be an exciting night. Full surprises.
Let's talk about the plays. So tied with Hell's Kitchen for most nominations is a play. It's stereophonic. It is brilliant. It is 3 hours long.
But everyone's loving it.
But let's talk about this Best Play category.
Yeah. For that, we have Jaja's African Hair Braiding by Jocelyn Beal, which was in the fall, and it closed, but still got some love yesterday. Mary Jane, Mother Play, Prayer for the French Republic, and then Stereophonic, like you said. It actually made history with its 13 nominations because Slave Play held the record with 12 in 2020, but now Stereophonic has beat it.
And what's interesting, there are 7 performers in Stereophonic. 5 of them got Tony nominations, which is pretty incredible. So.
And it got Best Score nomination, which is not unheard of for plays, but the fact that it got it is kind of interesting.
It does that because there is music in it. There's original music in the show, but it is still a play.
Still play.
So if you like plays, that's good ones for you. All right. Yeah. I love the Best Directing categories. Of course, there's 2 for one for play, 1 for musical. 7 of the 10 nominees are women. How significant is that?
It's big. It's the first time there's ever been that many women in those categories. I believe the record was 4 women across the 2 categories in 2022, if my math is correct.
So that's shattered.
So it's shattered, yeah. It's the first time there's more women than men in these categories, and I think it's a great milestone for representation. You know, they're historically underrepresented, and so this is kind of a new chapter.
And there's so many amazing shows that they've directed, as you see there. All right, we always have to talk about the snubs and the surprises. You have some snubs, you think, right?
Yeah, for me it's The Wiz. There were 8 shows that were left out completely, and I'm someone that I hate when anyone's left out, but for The Wiz, everyone was so excited leading up to the Broadway opening, and audiences have been loving it, but the Tony nominators not so much because it got 0. And then I think also, I think people were expecting Steve Carell to get a nomination for Uncle Vanya. He's so beloved for his screen roles and was excited to have him on Broadway, but he didn't clinch it yesterday. And I think the bright side of it is that his co-star William Jackson Harper did get the nomination for his role in Uncle Vanya, so they can still celebrate that.
And if that name sounds familiar, there you see you're a fan of The Good Place, which was on NBC for so many years.
Love that show.
That is his category. My snub, I guess, was I loved Harmony, and I was hoping that it would do better, but it did close early, and that sometimes is what happens when shows close early.
Factors in.
You don't get those. All right, so we sum it up. We also have the revival categories.
Yes.
And the musical Merrily We Roll Along is rolling along.
It's rolling along, and it's a fan favorite, which is so interesting because when it first opened back in 1981 or 82, it was not beloved, and so now it's kind of had this resurgence. And and it could very well take that category. I think its main competitor would be Cabaret if I had to choose to go head to head.
Possibly, but I think Merrily We Roll Along's got that one, and Revival of a Play will also be a category folks keep an eye on. A show called Appropriate has gotten a lot of attention.
Yes.
Sarah Paulson stars in that. She's got a Tony nomination.
Yes, and I love Brandon Jacob Jenkins. He's such a great playwright. So I think that could be it too.
All right, so much exciting stuff to talk about. So much for you to check out if you're in the New York area leading up to the Tonys. Felicia Fitzpatrick, always good to have you on.
So good to see you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, y'all.